today's DNVR Broncos show, how big of a hire did George Paton make on his personnel staff this morning? Plus, we're going to look at Justin Simmons. Will this new hire, along with George Paton, bring back Justin Simmons? Is there a world in which Justin Simmons re-signs with the Broncos? Plus, we're looking at other free agents the Broncos could sign and a fun draft, and it all starts now. Justin Simmons, David Shaw, other free agents the Broncos could bring in. We're talking about additions and future additions today on the DNVR Broncos Podcast, where there's no additions that we need to make on this show because we've got Super Bowl 50 champ Todd Davis, we've got Henry Chisholm, we've got Tiff behind the camera, and it's feeling like a Friday because this is our last show of the week because we've got our, annual Midsummer Classic tomorrow on the golf course.
I'm not the expert there. I did see we're going to be out there for a bit. Mostly, though, since I'm not playing, I'm going to take advantage of that driving range so that I don't embarrass myself this weekend with all the golf that I'm playing. So it should be a good day.
Yeah, because you're he's a celebrity in a golf tournament this week, Todd.
Yeah.
He's changing on us, man.
He is.
He's big time.
He still doesn't respond to my texts, though, so he just maintains
that's the
big
celebrity.
time.
We were
Exactly.
texting all morning.
Yeah, no, you did respond to my text this morning. I appreciate
Oh, my
that.
goodness.
Todd is
Oh,
the
my
real
goodness.
celebrity. He didn't even see my text this morning. I mean, that's when you're big time, is when you don't just not respond. You don't even see it.
That's when you have 4 kids and you just
4 phones.
yeah. You just don't even get caught up in it sometimes.
I don't know how you do it, Todd. It is incredible. You've got, couple busines's, couple of kids. Yeah, you're a busy man.
Moving.
That's
Oh,
right.
yeah,
on the
this
way.
weekend.
Oh, my gosh. It's been fun.
Oh, wow.
It's quite the time, and it's quite the time for us, too. I feel like we've been rolling this past month, and we actually our beat might not be out there at the golf tournament tomorrow because we might be having a very special guest on that will drop early next week. So it's quite a tease, and it's worth the tease. So stay tuned to that. But let's hop into today's news. This morning, we find out, and I was able to confirm that the Broncos have hired David Shaw to be a senior personnel executive and help out on the pro personnel side and the college personnel side. And of course, you're thinking, wait, isn't David Shaw the coach? Yes, it's that David Shaw. Former Stanford head coach David Shaw is now joining the Broncos front office in a full-time role.
I love it. I think it's a great hire, especially for the ability to recruit college kids. You know, when you've been a head coach in college, you know what to look for, who's been good for a long time, and you also know how to communicate and talk to young guys coming in. So, I think it's just an added bonus to that room of already talented people that know how to scout. Just another one to really help everybody dot their I's and cross their T's to make sure they're making the right draft choices.
Yeah. No, he's just a great person to have in that building. So I obviously covered him in the Pac-12. I only interviewed him once. It was my first day on the CU beat, and it was right after the Buffs hired Mel Tucker. And so I was writing a story on the Pac-12 having more black head coaches than I think it was the rest of the Power 5 conferences combined.
Wow.
And so at the time, David Shaw, all the things that he did, he's the face of that. Because, now I guess Mel Tucker's still around, you got Deion Sanders. But at that moment, he had been... Had he been to a national championship game? He'd been in some Rose Bowls. They won some Rose Bowls. Basically, it was the first 8 years he was there. It was just over and over and over again. They were super successful. And so I remember talking to him about that and being like, it makes sense that this guy is Stanford's head coach because he's an actual genius.
Yeah.
The football results are obvious. It was interesting at the end because he wound up stepping down last year, and that's why He interviewed for the Broncos job because there's all Stanford connections with the Penners, with Condoleezza Rice, who was teaching a class out there. But the last 3 years, the resume was not so good because that was when the transfer portal and NIL and all that stuff was happening. And at Stanford, they just don't have a chance because I'm pretty sure they still don't take transfers. I think it's still just grad transfers, and maybe they've had to change that. But like at Stanford, you can't just like bring a kid in halfway through. That's not really how they operate. And on top of that, they aren't all about like giving money to athletes either. So
they have so much money.
They have so much money though.
For school, like they have
exactly.
So much money.
But they're so against just giving that to somebody to come play football. So yeah, I mean, what David Shaw did there was incredible because he went over with Jim Harbaugh, and then Harbaugh left to go to the 49ers. And so that whole run with Christian McCaffrey and all that was David Shaw. Andrew Luck, that was all David Shaw.
Yeah, and really quick, just on his resume, when he was at Stanford, he took over his very first year as head coach. He went 11-2, then 12-2, then 11-3, then 8-5, then 12-2, then 10-3, then 9-5, then 9-4. And like you said, his final 4 years weren't very good. 4-8, 4-2, 3-9, 3-9. But about a 10-year stretch of dominance for a school where there's academic standards in order to play. Unbelievably impressive. Shows just how good of a coach he is and how unbelievable of a football mind he is.
Yeah, I think he was the coach when I played Stanford.
What
he
year?
must have been,
My freshman year.
2011?
Technically 11, yeah. It would have been 10.
Who's on the team? Do you remember?
Andrew Luck was the quarterback.
Some might have been.
So it might have been.
Did you pick him off?
No. I was playing outside linebacker.
Did you get torched?
You sack him?
No.
Did you sack him?
It was my very first college game. Like
That's crazy.
Do you remember every
that's pretty
aspect
cool.
of the first college game you've ever played? I
Not
feel
at
like that's
all.
what they're asking.
What?
Not
So you're
at
not
all.
Sean McVay? You don't have a
No.
recollection of every single play that's ever happened in your life?
I have good recollection of some plays, but not everything that's ever happened.
I guess he wasn't out on the field delivering hits
Yeah, I
and
think
stuff.
it's different if you're like seeing it. You know what I'm saying? And you watch
Yeah.
the tape on it, but you didn't do it.
Fine, I'll give you a pass.
You know, I think it's harder to remember.
Yeah.
Did you ever play Stanford again?
No, I only played him once.
Damn. Yeah,
was
that was David Shaw's the year right before it. So that was
Okay.
Harbaugh.
Okay.
But Shaw was
So
on
he
that
would have been
team.
like OC or
Yep.
whatever. Because they don't even have like real titles for head coaches at Stanford. Because it's just such like a weird program.
Really?
Yeah, no. Let me see if I can find Troy Taylor's
Wait,
page.
Todd, what do you remember about that game?
I don't remember.
Do you remember the
much.
score?
No, I think we got torched.
Yeah, you're right. You did get torched.
Yeah. Not the first half, though. You know those games are always close the first half.
Yeah.
And the second half, it just was like...
Well, what would you say is close in the first half?
Well, listen, I was a freshman, so I played maybe like 25 snaps because
Oh,
I played
that's
outside
good.
play outside linebacker. So
Yeah.
I came in and I rotated as a freshman. So what happened was the seniors and the juniors' fault.
Of course, I totally agree.
And I was just like, you know what I'm saying, getting my sea legs.
Night game, day game.
It was a day game.
Yep,
Yeah, it was a
3:30.
day game.
3:30 start
I do remember
over at
that.
Stanford.
Yeah.
The first half score was 38-7.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, you kept it
It was
close.
torched all the way through.
Final score 52-17. But that was your very first college game.
Very first college
That's
game.
really
yeah,
cool
yeah.
because it was at Stanford, right?
Yep, at Stanford.
That's awesome.
Yep.
I mean,
Andrew
being
Luck
at Sac
and-
State.
I don't remember who the running back was. I think Toby Gerhart had just left.
Oh,
yeah.
he was a monster.
Yeah, he was a monster, but I think he had just left.
Tyler Gaffney,
Okay.
if that rings a bell for you. Let's see. Do you remember?
Richard Sherman had already left, and it was
Oh.
before Christian McCaffrey.
Yep. Man, this is cold. So I'm on Sports Reference, which is where there's so many stats. They only have the stats of the Stanford athletes on here.
It's all right. It is all
okay.
right. Everything worked out. You know what I'm saying? I think
It certainly did.
Career for career, I probably bested most of the step besides Andrew Luck. But mine was longer. Mine was longer.
That
so,
is true, isn't
You know
it?
what I'm saying?
That's really, it's a
he
good
quit
point.
while he was on top.
So right now, Troy Taylor, who went over from Sacramento State to be Stanford's head coach last year to replace David Shaw, and Sac State
they love
beat
the
him
Sac
week
State
one.
guys.
They do. I mean, who doesn't?
Yeah.
So he has 3 titles at the moment.
Wait, so
Um,
he left Sac State to become
go to
Stanford's
Stanford.
head coach, and then
Yeah.
Stanford or
Lost.
Sac State beat him.
Yes.
Oh my goodness!
Yes, we did.
Yep. They don't belong in NIL. So he has 3 titles right now. We all would just say head coach because that's the one everybody would understand. But he is the Bradford M. Freeman Director of Football, He is the Andrew Luck Director of Offense and the Kevin M. Hogan Quarterbacks Coach.
That is wild.
Because they just sell off the names of the positions to whoever wants to sponsor them.
How about that? Kevin Hogan.
Yeah.
But they don't have money to pay their players.
No.
It's a good point. It's
aren't
a
into
good
the
point. And so David Shaw, the Broncos interviewed him last year, right before they hired Sean Payton. He was in that interview process and like you said, so many connections with ownership because Greg Penner, Kerry Walton Penner, both went to Stanford, and then Condoleezza Rice, who's part of the ownership group. She taught at Stanford and also went to Stanford, I believe. But so there's connections with the ownership group with David Shaw. Then George Payton was part of that interview process with David Shaw. Then they've maintained and actually built up their relationship, from my understanding, in the past year and a half since that interview. And then actually Sean coached with David Shaw on the 1997 Philadelphia Eagles team, so they have a connection. So this is just an absolute no-brainer. And he's obviously a really good coach, but just a brilliant football mind as well. And he, I believe, has had... let me pull this up. He's had 42 draft picks during his time at Stanford into the NFL, including 6 first-round picks. So he knows what good college players look like coming out. So I think this is great to just add another mind, and maybe he does help out with coaching at some point in the season as well. If you can add someone like this, I'm sure they're paying him a pretty penny because this is a full-time role, from my understanding too. And the ownership's going to pay for it. Absolutely. Why not do it?
It feels like they're really like stacking their roster. Not yet the players, but they're definitely stacking this coaching roster with like crazy talent. I think if you look at every position, it's pretty damn good coaches.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
then behind them are sometimes even better coaches, or coaches that could be head coaches at other positions. And even, they brought in this guy, and they also brought in the guy from the Saints who was like assistant GM for 20 years with Sean. Like, this roster of coaches is probably one of the best in the league if you look at everybody's tenure and how successful they've been over the course of their careers, for sure.
Yeah, like Jim Leonard, we were talking last week. Like, I would love if he was the defensive coordinator. Like, I would have thought that was a great hire. You got him as defensive backs coach. Like, David Shaw last year, I guess he wasn't my top choice for head coach, but he was right up there. Like, he was right up there with Jim Harbaugh and Sean Payton. Those were kind of my big three, especially because he's just such a good fit with the Broncos, because he is like we saw it at Stanford. It's the pro-style West Coast offense, which is all like the under center, like wide zone runs. Like it's the stuff that the Broncos kind of built off of from the 90s on. And he learned that from Bill Walsh. Dennis Green and Bill Walsh were his coaches at Stanford when he played there. And then from there, like, goes, and obviously the Ravens run all that, and that's where he got his big break before he went to San Diego. So I think it's a perfect, like, culture fit football-wise, on top of just being, like, a great person to have in the building. And he's also just overqualified.
Yeah, 100%. So a great move all the way around. And I think I forgot to welcome everyone into the Toyota Lounge, which is, of course, powered by your local Front Range Toyota stores, which is the official vehicle of DNVR, and the official sunglasses of DNVR is from our friends over at Shady Rays, where the sun is out today. It is hot again. You're going to have your Shady Rays nearby, and you can get 35% off already affordable glasses by using the code DNVR to get 35% off over at shadyrays.com, where they have hundreds of different styles. They have the sporty glasses like we've got on the screen. They've got stylish glasses. They've got the combination of both. They have ski goggles as well. I mean, anything that you put over your eyes, they've got over at Shady Rays, and polarized as well, which really helps. So use that code DNVR to get 35% off, where over 300,000 people have already given them 5-star reviews. We love them. The country loves them. We know you're going to love them. And this is an exclusive code for our listeners to get the best deal on them. DNVR over at shadyrays.com. Get you 35% off.
Also, go check out BetterHelp, one of our new partners that we're pretty excited about. They can help you with a bunch of different things. They're licensed therapists. They do help you with your relationships, or if you're not feeling great about anything, they can kind of talk you through all that. So if you're trying to work on self-improvement, or work on something with a relationship with a family member, or friends or girlfriends, boyfriends, that sort of thing. They have a bunch of people who can help you work through whatever you're trying to work through. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient and flexible. They'll fit everything to your schedule. All you got to do, you just fill out a short questionnaire, and then they'll match you with a licensed therapist. So they put some thought into who fits with who best. And then if you want and you don't like the therapist they give you, you can switch at any time to somebody else for no additional charge. It's all discreet, it's private, it's confidential, it's secure. They obviously understand HIPAA and all that sort of stuff. But if you're looking for some help with therapy, BetterHelp is a great option. Become your own soulmate, whether you're looking for one or not. Visit BetterHelp.com/DNVR today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/DNVR.
So college football, the game, is it college
Yes.
football 25?
Yes.
Is obviously gotten so much hype, as it should. But Madden dropped their Madden 25 which they've already had Madden 25, but it's Madden 25
we're doing that again. Yep.
Dropped their trailer today. Did you guys see the dirty work they did in that with their trailer?
No, I didn't see it.
Did you see it, Henry?
No.
They had in their official Madden trailer, it starts off with Justin Fields returning a kick as a kick returner.
That's messy.
Oh, wow.
That's messy.
I mean, that is so messed up.
Maybe not the worst idea, but
That's a
It's
pretty
so
bad
offensive.
he could do it. He could do it, though.
He already
it's
said
just
he's
like all
not
the Tim
going to.
Tebow slander. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not a tight end. I know he came back and was a tight end for a little bit, but like at the start of my career, you're not gonna make me a tight end now. And for Justin Fields, I'm not a returner. I'm a quarterback, and I think he's trying to beat Russell Wilson out.
100%.
I don't think it's going to work. Do you see what Le'Veon Bell was saying about Justin Fields?
Yeah, we should be trusting Le'Veon Bell's opinion, but let's hear it.
Le'Veon Bell was not a huge fan. It was like some clip of like some pass, and he's like, "That's so late. Everybody's so excited. This guy sucks." Yeah, I don't know. I think that
He was throwing passes at like a high school football field to Route God. I don't know who that is. Is that
Yeah.
a college player?
No, he's
No.
a trainer.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. To Route God on air, and apparently his passes were late. Like, are we really going to be picking that apart?
I mean, you don't. There's no need to. But at the same time, it's like you're. I hate just the workout videos in the first place.
Why?
So-
It doesn't get you fired up for the season? Knowing
No.
that guys are working?
Like I think
Jerry Jeudy ruined that for everyone in Denver.
if I was playing and I had I made a workout video, that would like fire me up to go play. But as like an outsider seeing somebody else practice and warm up, it's like, oh, good job with the stretches. I don't need that. I can just go watch highlights or something.
Oh, I don't know.
Did you ever do a workout video?
For sure, pictures or videos or
Okay,
clips
pictures.
or something. Videos for sure. I have videos still in my phone from like workouts.
Let's pull him up.
Yeah, we need a workout video day.
I want to see Todd working.
I might be able to see something.
The funniest hype video I ever saw was 2-ish years ago. Garrett Bowles dropped a hype
hype
workout
video?
video. Yeah, and it was like him running up hills.
That
and he
was
had
a
the
good
drone coverage
There
going
you
on.
go.
I did like that one.
Yep. When
really
you get
was-
the tackles doing stuff.
It was like Jerry Jeudy and Russell Wilson at the same time.
Yeah.
It was just another workout video every day.
But
But guys are working. But you're saying because it didn't amount to what you thought it would, then you don't like it.
I just don't need to see the work. Like it's like
however, though, if Russ and Jerry would have turned out to be the guys we thought they were, we would still be loving those hype videos.
Yeah.
Every Broncos fan would want to
true.
see them daily, even after 3 or 4 years. I think it's the fact that both of those guys really didn't work out here that really turned Broncos Country off on them.
Oh dang.
But, like-
well, I know this is not the same, but it kind of feels the same in my mind. Like, do you guys watch like the bloopers at the end of the movies, or do you guys like skip those?
I do like those.
Yeah.
Those are good,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Only if
That's
they're
just
good.
the work that was done
Yeah.
before the movie was completed.
But like if Russell Wilson had just like tripped while he was dropping back, I would watch that over and over. It'd be hilarious.
You're saying it wasn't funny. It was just
No,
sad.
it's just like, okay, throwing a football.
Or
Footwork.
what you're saying,
bench press.
if he would have dropped these hype videos and workout videos after a successful season, because that's kind of like the blooper.
Maybe. The thing is, like, in a very, very, very alternate universe where Jerry Jeudy's like a Pro Bowl receiver and Russell Wilson is coming off like some great season and we're saying like, yeah, this is Super Bowl or bust. If Russ were to post on Instagram like the workout video, would everybody be like, oh shit, like I gotta sit down and watch this thing? Would we really get that excited?
Wait, say that again?
Like in an alternate universe where everything worked out and Russ is awesome.
Yeah.
Like if this morning Russ dropped a workout video,
Yep.
would we have been like fired up to see it?
100%.
You think so?
You think in Kansas City, if Patrick Mahomes dropped a workout video this morning, people in Kansas City would be fired up to see it? 1,000%.
Interesting.
And if you're saying Russ wins a Super Bowl, then that's how kind of Russ would be viewed here. He'd be viewed as like Patrick Mahomes. So
maybe
yes.
those just aren't it. Maybe I just am not a workout video guy.
Hater Hank, you're just drinking
I'm-
Haterade, man.
I'm probably wrong again. Like this is probably another one of the opinions.
Let
people
us know in
don't
the
like.
Toyota chat. If Russell Wilson had won a Super Bowl, would you be fired up to see him post a hype video this morning on June 20th? Or let's say Bo Nix wins a Super Bowl this year. Would you be fired up to see him post a hype video next year on June 20th?
Let us know.
I would rather.
Yeah, and as KW says, yes, that Russ workout video would do numbers.
I mean, it would do numbers, but like, I mean, every one of them did numbers.
Well, that means they're good.
No, it means he has a lot of followers.
That means it got
Do
the
you
people
like
hyped.
seeing the work though, or you just like seeing a finished product? Are you that kind of person? Because I like understanding somebody's work ethic in a workout and like seeing how hard you grind and seeing what you're actually doing. And then I like maybe we'll watch the video and be like, I don't know if that'll translate. Just kind of just funny, or I'd be like, oh, that's a good drill. I might implement it or stuff like that too.
So, first of all, I'm not implementing anything Russ does because I just don't live in that world. But also, maybe it's because we see like 6 practices in the spring, we see like 30 practices before the season, and then we see like 3 practices every week until the end of football season. Maybe I just see enough football that isn't like game situations that just means that like, because to me, like it goes like workout video is like the very bottom level. Next up is like, oh, it's a football practice. It like matters a little bit more, and then above that's like an actual game. And so when I get so much of the top 2, maybe it's just I just don't need to see you
That's totally
lift weights.
fair. That's totally fair. Todd, speaking of lifting weights, you able to find anything?
I have some stuff. I'm looking at it right now to see if it's something I want to see.
Yes. Well, as you look at that and decide, you know whose workout videos we haven't seen this offseason?
Justin Simmons.
Justin
we go.
Simmons. There you go. I
Yeah.
threw you a softball and you
Yeah.
crushed it out of the park. Right
it.
on, Hank. Justin Simmons, he's been laying really low. The biggest news about him has been just the silence. The no news has really kind of spoken volumes. Obviously, the Broncos released him in March, came to a surprise to everyone, but that was one of the casualties of the Russell Wilson massive dead cap situation. And I think a lot of people in Denver, rightfully so, thought Justin Simmons was going to be maybe one of the first free agents picked up.
Yep.
And then once he wasn't picked up at the start of free agency, everyone thought, okay, he's being very selective on where he wants to go. He'll get snatched up maybe right before the draft. We're sitting here again, June 20th, and Justin Simmons is still a free agent. So that begs the question. We've seen him at Nuggets games during the playoffs, and the crowd goes wild when they see him.
Yep.
Denver loves him. He's clearly still living in Denver. Is there any chance that Justin Simmons re-signs with the Broncos?
Nope.
Okay, Todd. Any chance?
I'd probably say no.
Okay.
Just because I think the situation was a little bit tough to like come back to, if you know what I mean. Like I think you were cut for money, not because you didn't give your all to the community and the organization, and then also play well. And so if you do come back, you take a pay cut. It feels like they were right, and it feels like you kind of got to battle PJ or for a spot
That's
now.
the thing.
Like, let's not play these games. Like,
Yeah.
So I just feel like it's a little bit tough.
Well, I'm ready to play the game because I do think there is a chance. I do think it's a very small chance. And I think, unfortunately, something bad would have to happen for this to happen.
Okay,
One,
yeah.
Justin Simmons would have to remain on the market through the start of training camp. And hey, as a veteran player, I totally get it. If you don't want to sign with the team, that's not necessarily meaning that no team wants you. I'm sure teams want Justin Simmons. He might be asking for a little too much money. In fact, I think I've heard that he's wanted a little too much money from what certain teams are willing to give to him. But if I'm Justin, I don't need to go to the start of training camp. And if I'm a team that wants Justin, that's maybe the number one guy in the NFL I trust to come ready to training camp or preseason. Like, if he misses the first couple weeks of training camp, that's fine. Justin's going to show up in shape. That's the last thing I'm worried about. But, so he would have to, one, remain a free agent through a little bit of camp. And then, I'm touching wood here. I don't want this to happen, but it's the reality of football. Injuries happen.
Yep.
And if an injury happened to the safety room, PJ or Brandon Jones, I could see the Broncos being like, especially, we know Sean's going to get that urge to think this is a playoff team. He said it last year, right before the season started. I'm sure he's going to get in the building this year and be like, man, I think we can make a run at the playoffs this year. And if that sort of injury happens, then I could see a call being made to Justin Simmons. But he's not going to be brought back on a 4-year, $6 million deal. He's not going to be brought back on a 4-year deal. It would be a 1-year deal to, Justin, we love you. We just had this massive hole. You're obviously going to be our starter right away. And it would also probably be a small deal.
Yeah.
None of those things are ideal. You don't, from a Broncos perspective, you don't want to see any injuries happen. From a Justin Simmons perspective, he probably wants to go to a true contender this year. And then also, he probably wants a very long-term deal with big money. And I don't think that would be here. So it's probably not the ideal situation outside of like Broncos Country's emotions for this.
Yeah.
But that's really the only way that I see this happening. The Broncos have made it very intentional that they wanted to go young. And I do think that they wanted to save money from Justin. I don't think Sean views the safety position as a position where you spend top-of-the-line money. We see that between their two starting safeties right now. They're spending $10 million total this year, whereas Justin was going to make, I think, $15 million just by himself. So we've seen them cut that, and I don't see things aligning with the two sides right now.
Yeah, I think it's tough. I can kind of speak to the situation a little bit because it's kind of what I went through that first year I decided to retire. So that first year, very early in the season, maybe training camp, I think Alexander Johnson got hurt, and they called me. And so they asked me to come back, and I kind of asked like what my role would be, and it was kind of like, we have a young guy here that we want to give a shot. Would you come back and like kind of play special teams, and if you beat him out, you beat him out, but that would be your role for right now. Maybe 2 weeks later, things aren't working out, and so they called me again, and it's like, okay, so now would you come back? You would be the starter coming in. And then I'm like asking about money, and it's kind of like, it's kind of like a league minimal type deal. I'm like, I've worked too hard for that at this point. I just want like a little bit of like love, kind of like Cortland it was feeling. I just want like, just give me like a little bit of guarantee or just a little bit of something more than just the league minimum based off what I've done. And basically also what you're asking me to come in here and do. You guys are still working to be in the playoffs. You guys are still working to make a push. If you want me to come in here and be your starter and play at the level that I've been playing at and what you paid me to play at, I'm not asking for the same money you've paid me before, but give me more than what, like, what I'm saying, the minimum. And so it just didn't end up working out. But that's maybe a situation that, Justin could find himself in if something happens at the Broncos safety room.
And Todd, I love that perspective. And was there, I would imagine, but since you've been in this position, you're better to speak on it. I would imagine there's also like a little premium that they would have to pay me to come back because they cut me. They lost me money. They, not embarrassed, but I'm sure it's not a fun situation to go through being cut. I'm sure from a player's perspective, it's like, I want a little premium to come back as well.
Yeah, that's how I felt. Like, you don't have to pay me more, but just do something to kind of like make me feel like this is not just like a one-off or like you don't really care. We're just trying to get through the season type deal. Like, show me a little bit of love. So I guess there was a premium, not like more money than I ever made, but just more money than what you're trying to give me now. Like, let's meet in the middle somewhere.
Because it'd be weird to go from being a captain to then like hey, I'm just gonna back this guy up and play some special teams for the vet minimum.
And it's like
it's just a strange dynamic.
It's this very next year. Like I left in training camp, went to Minnesota. That very next year, you want me to come back, and the guys that I was mentoring, now I have to like battle.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I would be taking his spot. Like it's a lot of like dynamic and coaches are still there that were there before.
Yep.
It's just a weird dynamic to find yourself in, and that's why you're like, if I'm gonna step back into this room and I'm gonna go in there and be the man that I'm supposed to be and walk around with my head held high and be kind and courteous to everyone and treat everybody with respect, like I feel like I need a little bit of love in return because it's already a weird situation for me to walk into. So last thing I want to do is walk in there knowing that I got kicked to the curb, and then also my head's down because I'm not making any money. Like, I don't want to do that. I feel like that's tough.
Nobody
That's tough.
wins. You can't go from captain to being like the 40th most important guy on the team.
Yeah. Or I'm back a starter and I'm just like,
but you're just not treated that way.
Yeah. And I only know how to be one way. Like, I don't think I could step into a building and not at least try to be the captain. You know what I'm saying? Not like I'm trying to be the captain. That's just like, I feel like that's just how I operate. Yeah. Like, I'm going to be first in lines. I'm going to lead meetings. I'm going to lead rooms. I'm going to talk to guys. Like, that's just what I do. I'm not going to go in there and silence myself or be less of me.
Yeah.
And if you know who I am, I want a little bit of love for that because I think that's why you're bringing me back. Yeah, because if I wasn't that guy, I don't think you make the call.
You probably wouldn't have played in the NFL.
Yep. My guess is they tried to call your bluff by being like, well, you're not playing for any team right now, so we're not going to give you more. And you were like, F you guys. If you give me more, I'm staying retired, baby.
Yeah, I'll just stay here.
And you did.
Yes.
Man, if you were on Vestable at that point, Todd, all of your investors would be like, please go back. We want you to make more money. And if you want to get in on Vestable, you can get in on Baron Browning's IPO. It's available right now. And how you do that, you have to have the app. So scan the QR code on our screen, which will help you get the app, or go to the App Store and download the Vestable app, where they're all about redefining fandom, not just for your team, not just for the players you like, but you can actually invest in players that you cheer for. And it's really cool that their first athlete is Baron Browning, really connected to this Broncos show and everyone listening to this show. So if you want to get in, download the Vestable app where you can get Baron Browning's IPO right now. Shares are limited and they're available for purchase right now. They're going to have more athletes at the college level and professional level, but right now they've got Baron Browning. So if you want to get in and have a share of Baron Browning's future earnings, you can do that, but you have to have the app. Go to Vestable or go to the App Store, download the Vestable app, or scan that QR code on our screen to get Baron Browning's IPO, which is live right now.
Also, want to give a shout out to Circa. We always talk about how the difference with them is that the cut that they keep is so tight that you feel it, especially on the longer odds bets. That's very notable right now because the Dodgers have been in town, which means that the difference between getting, plus 180 and plus 200 is kind of a big deal because the Rockies are basically that size of underdog every day. I made a bunch of money on them last night because they won, and that's easy to make a lot of money when the Rockies win. I'm going to do it again today, and I'm going to do it again with Circa because at Circa, especially for this sort of bet, the wider line bets, you actually make more money when you bet with Circa. They don't have all the little gimmicks. They don't have like the parlay boosts. But what they do have is super high limits and a very low hold model. So check out Circa Sportsbook. It's where all the pros go. You can download the app at circasports.com. Circa Sports bets can only be made while physically located in the state of Colorado. Must be 21 or older. All rights reserved. Circa Sports Colorado encourages you to gamble responsibly. Gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER or visit problemgamblingcolorado.org.
So in the Toyota chat, Behad Moon says, so injury is the only way Justin Simmons comes back? That's what I think. Do you guys see any other possible way?
Back to the Broncos? Yeah. I would say that's probably the only way. They went out and got a guy in free agency who they expect to be a pretty good player. Sean has talked about how PJ Locke is now coming along as a leader on this team. Caden Sterns is still trying to get right, but I think they feel like they have, two guys that'll start for them for sure. So I think something would have to happen.
How much did they save by cutting him? Was it 13 and a half?
Yeah, I think so.
It was right in there. And Brandon Jones' new contract is $7 million per year. So if you bring in Brandon Jones and then you bring in, say, you give it $8 million, even $7 million to Justin Simmons, all of a sudden you're paying even more money than you would have paid if you had just kept him in the first place. And I think that's kind of the sticking point. Yeah, I think if there's an injury, but I mean the price tag keeps going down. He didn't get signed in March when free agency opened, which is where if he was going to get like the 4 years, $60 million, it would have been in March. In April, you're like, hey, maybe he gets a couple years. And if not, then you wait till after the draft and after OTAs because you don't want to go to those, obviously. And you're obviously in 1 year deal territory now. But the fact that he wasn't signed pretty quickly after OTAs, also not a good sign. So sometimes you see it with guys. I mean, we saw with Dalton Reisner last year where he wasn't signed until like a week into the season. And I'd be shocked if that's what happens with Justin Simmons just because he's one of the 3 or 4 best safeties in the league by anybody's count. And I think he has a pretty strong case for number 1. But he's going to keep getting cheaper. And as long as he keeps getting cheaper, if there is an injury, then maybe he could come back. But that's a very narrow path.
Yeah, and unfortunately, so there is a chance.
I guess technically.
There's a chance.
Eventually, if all the other safeties get signed, all the Broncos safeties get hurt, there's just the one spot left and the one guy who can fill the hole.
And
I'm betting against it.
Unfortunately for Justin, the safety market has really changed, and it hasn't obviously just impacted Justin. It's impacted every safety. Mm-hmm. The value on safeties has gone way down outside of like those top guys. I think Derwin James signed a $20 million contract. But now everyone else is just sitting on the market, getting smaller deals. So it seems like Justin's going to have to maybe wait for just a 1 year prove it type of deal. But if he takes one of those deals, wouldn't you want to go to a contender? If you want a prove it deal, wouldn't you want to be on a really good defense so that the pass rush gets there and then it forces quarterbacks to throw the ball quicker so then you get more interceptions. So then not only do you get to play for a winning team, but your stats are also looking better?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think he's gotten some calls. I won't tell anybody's business, but I know people have reached out. I don't know how close they are to coming to agreements, but he definitely has gotten a lot of love out there. And there's definitely a few places that Bronco fans would hate to see him go because you have to play him a couple times a year.
So my guess is either the Chiefs, the Raiders, or the Chargers.
I don't know.
Oh, man.
Yeah. It is really sad that it used to be like you would add the Patriots to that list. Because you're like, you're going to play him every year. You're going to see him in the playoffs. You'd hate to see him go there. Now it's like, just don't go in the division because there's really no other rivalry brewing anywhere else.
Who would be the worst among those 3?
Oh, Chiefs.
Without a doubt.
Raiders is unique, though.
Chiefs would be the worst, yeah. But Raiders would still suck, too.
Yeah.
Especially if he just pick sixes or just is out there just making Bo Nix have a bad day. That would suck.
The thing about the Chiefs is that if he goes there, you understand why.
Sure.
You're like, you can't really blame him. Like, if you're getting the same offer from everybody and you choose to go to the team that keeps winning Super Bowls, like, it sucks, but it is what it is. If you choose the Raiders, though, like, there's no good reason to choose the Raiders.
Money.
Like, that, money. It would just feel like a massive middle finger to the Broncos, though. That I kind of want to change my answer. I think if Justin Simmons goes to the Raiders, that's worse than the Chiefs.
I see totally what you're saying.
Yeah.
Oh, man, it would just make the Chiefs so much better because Justin is such a good player. I still think the Chiefs, but I see the Raiders, and, man, him wearing black and gold would be so wrong and disgusting.
Black and silver?
Man. Yeah, what'd I say?
Black and gold.
Oh, yeah.
You'd hate to see him with the Saints. Yeah.
Or the Saints, yeah. Black and silver. God. Oh, man, that would just be brutal. So where would you want to see him go? Where do you think the best place, if it's not Denver, where do you think Broncos Country would be like the happiest to see him go?
I mean, I feel like the 49ers are like kind of Broncos Country's other team.
100%.
Like low-key, everybody kind of roots for them on the low. I would like to see him in a spot like Miami, pretty good team. Go back to Florida, close to home.
Go visit him.
I think that would be a great fit for him. But yeah, I think
that's a good one.
There's a couple of good teams, and both those defenses are pretty good.
Yep.
Philly's another.
Isn't too bad now, but
yeah, I'd put Philly on the list too.
Would he want to play for Vic? I wonder. Like that would be very telling.
True. That is true. Things have gone well for him in that defense. That'll be
That's true.
interesting. That's why
true.
I the Lions also stand out, but I don't want to send somebody to Detroit. You know, like
They're
send them to
rolling.
Miami.
They're rolling.
They're rolling for sure.
Oh, that seems like such a cool city to sign for a year.
Yeah, for a
where?
year.
Detroit.
What?
For a year.
I'm not gonna talk bad about
For
Detroit.
the team, for the team,
For the team,
like,
yeah,
like
for
the
the team,
city's
for the
also
squad.
embraced him. And if
Yes.
Justin signs in August, he's only got to be in Detroit for 5 months or
Yeah.
something. The family definitely stays in Denver. He gets a nice little apartment in Detroit, and you're there for 5 months to have such a cool fan base around you.
Yep.
I mean, they
Won't
would
won't see the sun for 5 months, but
That's true.
you guys are gonna win some football games.
Yeah. If somebody chooses Detroit, Detroit's just gotta love them
Oh, 100%.
because that doesn't happen often.
Dan Campbell's the perfect coach for them. Like the perfect
Oh,
coach.
yeah.
He embraces it. They embrace him. Man, I think San Francisco, though. I mean, that's Broncos Country
Yeah.
light out there. And then also a team who might have the best odds of beating the Chiefs. So you put him on that defense that can help stop Patrick Mahomes. And Justin Simmons has picked off Patrick Mahomes more than any other player in the NFL.
Yep.
So, man.
It'd be cool to see him with the Steelers. I think there's still too much bad blood with the Steelers just from the past like 50 years. But I think he would
Bad blood between who?
the Broncos. Like there's just been
You think that's in Justin Simmons' blood, though? Like, if he's talking to
No.
AFC West teams, potentially, you would think that.
but I think there are a lot of Broncos fans who see him in a Steelers uniform and are like, oh, gross. You know?
Oh, you mean from Broncos
Yeah.
Country's
It'd be-
perspective?
it'd be
I see.
bad.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be like as bad as like the Chiefs or the Raiders or like there's a whole list of teams
Yeah.
that would be worse, I think, but there would be a lot of people who would be upset. But I do think in that defense, he would be a pretty cool fit.
I don't know. I'm not sending Justin to go have 20 tackles a game and just bang
That's
his head
fair.
up against
That's
running backs.
That's
Like
fair.
that's
That's
that
a lot of
division.
blitzing.
That division is a lot of blitzing, a lot
Yeah.
of running the ball, hard-nosed football. I think Justin is like the AFC West is a very pass-dominant division. I think he needs to go to another division like that where he can really show his skills. He has no problem coming up and making tackles. He has no problem. He's very physical, but I just feel like he's at his best when he can roam
That is
and
true.
pick you off and make you look crazy.
It's like Miami.
Yep.
Every game's a shootout.
Yep.
He'd probably get 8 picks.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Or as Edward says, maybe Justin wants to be a Broncos staff member. Just hire him in the personnel department, give him $15 million. No, Justin
Yeah.
still got really good ball left. And speaking of really good ball, we've got a workout video from
Oh,
Todd.
let's go.
Let's pull it up.
It's like 2 minutes long, but it's training in there.
oh, hell yeah.
Not
Let's
2 minutes, like my bad, like 4 seconds.
4 seconds.
It was just one drill. I had like, you know what I'm saying,
Oh,
working
wow.
on changing the direction,
Ooh,
hand-eye
wow.
coordination,
And the
you know?
pick.
Oh, I'm
Hell
fired up
yeah.
for the season now.
And now you're ready. That's
So
what it's all about.
what is this drill for? Is this for like reading
Hips.
hips?
It's all hips and footwork. So the
Okay.
first part is like, you know, having quick feet, being able to get in and out of like, it's not like the box right there. And the rest is just being able to like flip my hips on a dime. And if I need to go sideline to sideline, I can do so like in an instant, straight down the line, not like losing ground. Because if you can't like turn your hips fast enough, you got to kind of like round everything out to be able to make turns. So we're just working on being able to have quick feet and be instinctive right there.
If everything that you've known after playing in the NFL for 7 years, if someone right when you were coming out of college said you can have one elite trait at inside linebacker, what would it be? Like feet, hips, hands?
Oh, shoot, that's tough. I want to say hips, but your hands are like, your hands are gold. If you have good hands, like they can't block you in the run
Yep.
game. And I think that's the most important thing as a linebacker is just your hands, no matter what. If you can get yourself out of sticky situations and play great with your hands, I think great hands go into tackling, shedding blocks. I mean, you're never getting blocked. It doesn't matter if you're fullback, line, old lineman, tight end coming up to block. If you have great hands, it's like, get off me, little boy, and you make the play. So
Yeah.
I'll probably say hands is probably most important.
What makes good hands?
Um,
Like strong, big?
strong hands and intentional hands. I think a lot of guys don't use their hands. They just like, shoulder or just try to get by guys. But it's kind of like mixed martial arts in a way to where like if you have good hand placement, you win 90% of the time. A lot of guys don't understand that. If I can just kind of get first contact, I don't even have to be the strongest, but if I just get contact and feel where your body is, I can like remove my hands and make a play. But if I never get that feel for your presence, I think you still have control of a situation and I'm just not at my best.
There's some offensive linemen who just have like crazy big hands. And like not just like size, like everybody just thinks of like the length and that stuff, but like it's like they're like boulders.
Yeah.
We're just like boom. I remember I was just like at a Buffs practice one day and Casey Roddick, who's like a 340-pound guard, he wound up going to Florida State. But he just like patted me on the back as I walked by, and like I just moved like 3 feet forward. And I was like, "Holy shit!" It was crazy. But you see that, and like NFL, obviously, even another level. But like you just shake somebody's hand or like get a pat on the back, and you're like, you could just toss me the other side of the room with those things if you wanted.
Yeah, and I think if you look at the great players like Aaron Donald, I think it's his hands. Like yes, he's quick, but if you can't touch him, like. There's nothing you can do. You know what I'm saying? Even Vaughn, with his speed around the edge, yes, he's fast, but he's running and swiping. Like he's swiping his hands, so your hands fall down, and you can't block anybody like this. Doesn't matter how good of an athlete you are. So I think hands are super important. Like no matter what position you play, if I could pick any trait, I'd probably say good hands.
Man, it's such a good point because that's such an overlooked thing from an outside perspective until you realize, like, put your hands down and then try to do something on the football field. You can't. That's crazy. Todd, one unique thing about your workout video, that was in the Pat Bowlen Field House.
Yep.
A lot of these workouts, like the Jerry Jeudy ones, are on sand, not in Denver. The Russell Wilson ones, all of them or most of them, were in San Diego.
Yep.
So did you work out a lot inside the Broncos facility?
Yeah, I don't know if I was supposed to be there. I might have got in trouble a couple of workouts later. I don't know if I have too many workouts from inside the field house. Most of them are outside of it. But, you know.
Because that's like the NFLPA trying to make sure that guys aren't in there too much and working too hard with oversight of the team.
Yeah, well, they say don't ask for permission, just ask for forgiveness. And then, you know, got some good work in, so it all worked out.
I'm sure coaches like seeing you around, though.
Maybe I should try that. Just do a quick little workout in the field house.
Quick little workout?
trying.
No, then you'll be sniped, so I wouldn't
Probably
do that. Yeah. We have a draft to get to, but before we do, we got a super chat coming in from our friend Shiloh, who says, Lucas Kroll, long-term tight end 1, LFG. Can he be a long-term tight end 1?
I hope so. I mean, that would go such a long way. Like, all of a sudden, if you just had an answer at one of those big holes you have right now, incredible. He had that great first practice. We were out there 4 or 5 other times. 5 other times. Never really saw that again. But, you know, that first practice was awesome.
Well, first impressions mean everything, right?
Yeah.
So he chose a good time to have a good practice because everyone's talking about him. And honestly, if Greg Dulcich isn't healthy this season, he's going to have that shot to be the Broncos tight end 1 this year. Now, you also have Adam Troutman, who's a known commodity. And if Lucas Kroll doesn't take the jump that everyone hopes and has seen and is expecting, then it will be Adam Troutman. And if you're blocked by Adam Troutman, then you probably can't be a long-term tight end 1. So training camp is going to be a time for Lucas to take that jump, and he's got the opportunity to do that. Speaking of the Toyota chat, we're sending our thoughts to our friend Alex in the chat who had to run due to an emergency, but we're thinking about you. Hope everything's okay, Alex. All right, fellas, should we hop into our draft?
Let's do it.
The Todd Davis restaurant draft, baby. The best restaurants in Denver. We asked people over at DNVR_Broncos. We got like 100 responses of the best restaurants in Denver. Now we're putting the 3 of us to the test. Todd, you have the number 1 pick. Do you want to keep that?
Yeah, I'm going to take it. I'll take it. If I, you know what I'm saying? I'm not trading it away.
I don't know where you're going here. Now, are we talking like, you know, Denver metro area? Or are we talking inside Denver? It has to have a Denver zip address.
Nothing Denver Metro.
Okay.
I think so, too. Yeah.
Okay.
My spot, my first spot is a little, I guess it's a little fancy, but I think it's a great spot.
As long as they serve food.
Yeah, probably the best food I've had maybe ever.
Wow.
And so I'm going to go with the Wolf's Taylor. I don't know if you guys ever been.
I've heard about
The
it.
Wolf's Taylor is phenomenal. It's like a little 8-course tasting menu.
Yep.
Every food, when you do it right, every food comes with its own drink. So by the time you're a little tipsy and you're very full, so it's a great time. So That'd be my number one pick.
Isn't that a Michelin star restaurant
That's
too?
well,
Yeah,
I
I
was just
think
gonna
so.
check. Yeah,
I think they got that this year. That was date night a couple of months ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
I
I
saw
think it was
that on your
the
Instagram.
First time Michelin's ever been to Denver.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
got one of the first.
Yeah, yeah. So that definitely is a good choice there, Todd.
yeah.
Henry, you're up next.
Just totally remind me, I'm in charge of planning an anniversary dinner and
There you
Oh,
go. You already got where you're going.
not making any public.
or we're about to find out with this number 2 pick where he's going right
Yeah.
now.
He's going to have a lot of options after the draft.
I'm gonna take
That's
Ocean
true.
Prime.
Oh,
Ocean Prime's
I really
okay.
like it.
Yeah,
Especially because I think it's by far the best seafood.
Okay.
Like I think that I win seafood category pretty easily with this on my.
Well, it depends.
Todd probably has some like crazy like. Somebody has to tell you about it type place, but yeah, I feel pretty good.
So then, what do we consider sushi den? Because that's where I'm
That's
going with
seafood.
this
Fair.
one. Yeah, 'cause
It's a
I'm
different
going-
style,
You
but
eat
yeah,
Right.
sushi?
I eat sushi.
What?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
with the fish
I
in
wouldn't
it.
have thought
Oh
that.
yeah, raw
Nice.
fish,
Okay.
absolutely. I just don't like raw fish that's been sitting in a company fridge for 2 months.
Ah.
That's the raw fish that I don't really go for.
Kinda
but in
picky.
Sushi Den, they're the ones that fly it in from Japan every day
Yeah.
or something, which is just wild to think about. The fish that you're eating was like
Just
swimming
swimming
in
yeah.
Japan like
is pretty
18
crazy.
hours ago. Insane. So Sushi Den been a staple in Denver for forever, really. So I'm gonna go with Sushi Den there. And now I'm going to go with a place I've never been before, but it gets awesome reviews, not just by the internet, but by everyone that I've ever talked to. Todd, I think you've been there. Henry, I'm not sure if you have. I'm going what a lot of people say is the best steakhouse in Denver, Guard and
And
Grace.
Grace, yeah.
Have you been?
Yeah. Shout
Good
out,
choice.
shout out to Troy Guard. Yes, been a couple times and also been for like we used to go there like rookie dinner was at Guard and Grace and rack up a tab there. Now I'm going for, of course, date nights and a couple charity events. Amazing food. Can't
Now, how
beat it.
does rookie dinner work?
You just bring the rookies with you and then make them pay?
Oh, yes. I love
Do
that.
they have to like split the tab like 10 ways?
No, just the rookies.
Just
so
one?
no,
you
I
have-
know. That's what I mean.
In
Like,
your
do the
position
rookies need to?
No, it's just your position group.
Oh, okay.
So it's not like the whole team.
Yep.
You know, you may have like this 5 or 6 linebackers on the team. You may invite a safety or 2 or a D lineman. So it's probably like 12, 15 people.
Yep.
And 2 rookies, 2 or 3 rookies. So-
Dang, that's crazy.
Oh, that is. Did you have to do that in New Orleans?
Yep.
Did you
Yeah.
have to do it here too? Then, since you were a rookie in both places.
No, I actually got away with it a little bit.
Yes.
So I only had like one rookie dinner in New Orleans, and I split it. But they had a first round draft pick on the defensive side of the ball, so he took most of the tab. I was
Good,
like, cool.
as he should.
Then I got to Denver, and they wanted to do like this huge thing where everybody had to put in a whole bunch of money. And I'm just like, oh, guys, I already paid for my rookie thing in New Orleans. So they were like, oh, you're good. I'm like, all right.
Smart, and you didn't
Wow.
lie. You did have
I
that.
did pay a
but
little
it probably
something.
saved you money.
So much.
Wow.
Do you remember what the tab was?
No, I have no clue. I have no clue.
Oh, that is amazing. All right, Henry, you're up again.
Tavernetta.
What do you know about Tavernetta? Tavernetta's fire.
Because girlfriend's stepdad is a chef.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he likes to eat fancy food.
Wow. Oh, not at Tavernetta.
No, we've been
Just
there.
in general. Yeah,
Yeah.
you've been there, but not
Yeah.
a chef at Tavernetta.
No.
Yeah,
In Minnesota, yeah.
Yeah. I've only heard good things about Tavernetta. Italian, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Good.
it is good.
My wife went there for a bachelorette party, and I was not invited. So,
Oh, dang.
yeah. No leftovers. No. All right, Todd, back to back.
Dang, there's so many good restaurants in Denver. That's one thing that's really slept on. I really do feel like Denver has a lot of good restaurants. You just got to find them sometimes. But once you know about them, they're pretty good.
The country's starting to find out about Denver with Michelin finally coming here for the first time a couple months ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is very slept on.
Let me go with A5 Steakhouse.
Oh.
Love A5. Shout out to my guy Juan Petro, the owner.
Is that associated with steak sauce?
No. And that's A1. This is A5. Very, very good. Very, very good steaks, very good oysters, and like we'll go there and get the burger any day of the week.
Really?
Maybe top 2 burger in Denver.
So would you
Super
get a
good.
burger over a steak?
Sometimes we go and just get burgers.
Wow.
Yeah, is that good?
Wow. Is that downtown?
Yeah, it's downtown, like right, and it's great for like pregame before a Nuggets game. So it's like maybe like 5-6 minute walk from the stadium.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, so it's right downtown. My next one is I don't know if you guys like Mediterranean food like hummus
Love
and
it.
lamb.
Yep.
Softa.
Yep. That was on my list.
Oh yeah, if you guys haven't been to Softa, that's definitely got to be on your list. Softa is the best Mediterranean food in Denver.
For sure.
Very, very good. Can't complain.
Their whipped feta. So
Very
good.
Yep.
So good. Henry?
Give me the Capitol Grill.
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty good.
Yep.
You're going like just across the
Steakhouse.
street between Ocean Prime and Capitol Grill.
Yeah, and also like Tavernetto, like 2 blocks.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
I
gonna
feel good about
go.
that.
You guys are. I think one's gonna slip through the cracks, so I'm gonna wait for my true number 3
Oh, wow.
until my number 5 pick here. But I'm gonna go for Broncos Country's hearts right here. I'm gonna go. Give me Elway's. Give me Elway's. I have
yeah.
been to Elway's too, and I mean, really good.
Yes.
Really good. And then back to back, I'm just really going to win this draft right here. Give me Shanahan's.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
Way to pander.
Yeah.
Have you been to both, Todd?
Yes.
Which one's better? Because I've never been to Shanahan's.
Elway's.
Elway's? Heck yeah. There we
Elway's
go.
is
Okay.
better.
Yeah.
I've only been to Elway's also. It's me again, right?
It's you. Yep.
Give me Blue Sushi.
Oh.
I like that place.
One's off 16th Street Mall,
Yep.
I believe. Yep.
Yep.
That's a good one.
Yep.
So now you've got the sushi in your game too.
Blue Sushi.
Todd, your final 2 picks right here.
These are my final 2?
I know.
2.
I did the same thing.
Yeah.
I thought I had one more.
All right. Dang, I know I'm missing somewhere. With some fire food.
You're
I
missing
know
one
it
really
now.
good one, I'll tell you that.
I haven't done any pasta yet, and I know they have great pasta in Denver at certain spots. But I got to do one spot I know I love. Another Mediterranean spot. I guess I like Mediterranean food. L5. Have you guys been to L5?
Heard
I've
of
heard
it.
of it,
Only
yep.
heard good things.
L5 is very good. Rooftop bar, great vibes for a date night or a hangout spot. L5 is awesome. And then for my last pick,
For some reason, I thought L5 was Montana Mexican cuisine. Oddly enough.
It's not. We would come up with a better name. Like the 5.
Yeah, that's very true.
dang, okay. All right, I was leaving a good one out, but I got to put this on the list because my family and I go there all the time. Daughter Thai. If you guys haven't been to Daughter Thai is phenomenal. What is that area? It has some breweries down there, has some shops, and it's right near the river. Downtown.
yep.
It's right by. It's not far.
Is it by
from-
REI?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep,
okay,
yep.
yeah, yeah.
Oh my
like
gosh.
down that street, whatever that street
Yep.
name is.
Yeah.
Huh.
Daughter Thai is right there.
Is it Market? No, that's not Market Street.
You can't
Oh.
beat Daughter Thai.
I should have eaten
that
breakfast
sounds
today.
so good. Yeah, you should have, Henry.
I'm really getting hungry now.
You gonna go with the breakfast place here?
No. I feel like I need to go Mexican. Just kind of. I feel like I'm kind of hitting all my spots here. Rio Grande. I know some people don't like it as much, but to me, it's kind of just like a nice classic,
Good strong marks.
but also like a nicer place too.
Yeah.
Not like the nicest, but
yeah,
you know.
No, I like that. That's a good one.
Very cool.
I'm gonna round it out. Todd, you said Italian. I gotta have Italian on my list. Olivia, have you been to restaurant Olivia?
Yes.
Oh,
that
it's
is-
No.
so good. I love it. It's like my splurge date night place. Been there only a couple times, but amazing. So I'm gonna go restaurant Olivia there. I think we all put together pretty good boards, but you're gonna be able to
Missing
vote
so
for it
many
over
names.
at DNVR_Broncos. That does it for the week. This has been an awesome week. Lot of fun, and I teased it earlier, but stay tuned for Monday's show. It's going to be really cool with a very special guest. Thank you for everyone for tuning in this week. Hit us with a thumbs up on the way out, and we will see you on Monday.
Quality Italian, original pancake house. There's so many names. Think of them too late.
We all silly like the mayor.